Yes, qualified audit opinions, simply put, are those municipalities, again, and entities that did not even get the financial numbers right. They didn't get that right, let alone the other two things, but they didn't get right the financial numbers to start with. Even after you've given them the opportunity to make corrections, they still didn't get it right. However, what needs to be noted in respect of the ones that are qualified is that the things that they did not get right in their financial statements are limited in isolated areas. They are limited in certain account balances. If you look at a set of financial statements, you've got cash, you've got assets, you've got liabilities, you've got plant, property and equipment, you've got all manner of things which are your elements of financial statements. You might find somebody who has been qualified has got a problem in one of those areas, not in all of them. An adverse opinion is a municipality or entity that has got problems of accounting for their activities in all the areas. All the areas have got problems. You've got problems in assets, you've got problems in receivables, you've got problems with revenue, you've got problems with most things. And that's why they are adverse. So you can compare, if you think about adverse and qualified. Qualified is saying, hey, get your stuff right in assets. Whereas in adverse opinion, it says get your stuff right everywhere. The controls in your environment when you've got an adverse opinion are such that it's an environment where everything looks broken. Everything you touch is broken. It's got to be fixed, but when you fix it, it doesn't get fixable because there's no proper system that had been undertaken throughout the 12 months to make sure that when somebody goes and buys certain things to implement a particular program far-flung in the municipality, there's a way that they come back to report and to provide a report such that the people in accounting can record it in the books. In an adverse situation, you sometimes don't even know who was given what and whether it came back. That's an adverse. And you've got the last category of audit outcomes, which is the disclaimer. Now, a disclaimer is a situation where you do not even have the document to look at in order to substantiate the transaction that is put in the financial statements. Sometimes the financial statements do not even balance in a disclaimer. So as an auditor, when you face an institution that has got a disclaimer, where we've got about 59 of them in this report, a disclaimer, what you're basically confronting in a disclaimer is that I do not know whether these financial statements present fairly. Now, when you say I do not know as an auditor, it means that you were expecting to get some evidence in order for you to know. But now, in the absence of that evidence, you do not know. So in a disclaimer, an auditor says, I am not in a position to express an opinion because I did not get sufficient access to the documents that will help me evaluate what management represents in the financial statements. That's the worst kind of audit outcome, because what it means is that the level of accountability by the people running the institution is at such a low level that they themselves possibly do not know what each other is doing in respect of the budgets that are being distributed across the organization. Because if that was not the case, you would have a report on financial management matters being presented to council, and the councillors would be able to say, I know this or I do not know that. Where is my expenditure for the last 6 months of 11 million, for argument's sake, which would have gone towards particular projects and so on. So the level of discipline at the basic level of recording and accumulation of documents is what is settling the area of disclaimers. And that's a problem, because it's something that means that whatever amount out of that total of 268 billion, the auditors were not able to say it is indeed reflected fairly in the financial statements or not.